The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning. It is Monday, August 9th. I am independent journalist Georgia Ford. We start today's show with an exclusive story coverage by Benjamin Dixon. As he was on the road traveling, he had the opportunity to stop and speak with truck drivers who work for Amazon. Now, we are probably, most of us, informed about their poor working conditions across the country. This is a company that has 1.2 million employees, 110 warehouses in the U.S., more than 185 globally, a huge employer, yet they continue to fail at providing safe and healthy working conditions for those who are working for them. Take a look at this video.
Oh, it fell out the truck. We're gonna leave it, well, you know what? That means another worker has to get it. So I'm gonna let you come pick it up. Tell me what this is.
Bottle of urine.
Whose urine is it?
My urine.
Why do you have a bottle of urine, brother?
Because I don't have the time to stop. So I have to keep up, and I don't have places around me where all my deliveries are. So I have to keep a bottle for whenever I have to use the restroom.
That make you feel, man, that you have to do that, like as a human being. I mean.
Captured by Ben Dixon, who's joining us now along with Brother Carl Mack. You guys, when you look at an employer this size, it's not a matter of whether or not they have the money to create more equitable and healthy work environments. This is a choice that they're making. And Ben, I know that you pointed this out online. These allegations are not necessarily new allegations, but allegations that should remain at the forefront of people's minds.
Right, absolutely, Georgia. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Mack. The story, the reason I knew I could get the story was because I've read the story. But there's a difference, I think, in reading and seeing. And then the amount of drivers that had pee bottles, we thought it was anecdotal. We thought maybe it was a one-off. I talked to 8 drivers. 7 of the 8 drivers had either had pee bottles on them, urine bottles on them, or knew or had done it. There was only one driver out of the 8 that had no idea whatsoever what I was talking about. And he just so happened to be a white man.
So, Georgia, I would say that, when we think about why this condition exists, I think it's pretty clear that the U.S., in America, we want to say we care about culture. But in fact, what we're saying is we really care as consumers about trying to get that product as quickly as we can, and as importantly, as cheaply as we can. And so when you factor those two things in, time and cost, you will have conditions like this, because if they're working off efficiency, it's about you moving and running and getting those packages in and out to the consumer as quickly as possible. And so because this is not a new story, to Ben's point, and folks have not just absolutely rattled the alarm bell, is because in the end, what the consumer is saying, look, I feel bad about it, but get me my product and get it to me as quickly as you can, as cheaply as you can.
And Ben, I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit more on how you were able to connect with these drivers, because this is not necessarily something I would think that people would really be proud to talk about. It feels a little humiliating. It feels a little embarrassing to have to talk about something so personal and to share on camera, even, the conditions that you've been position to deal with just because you need to provide for your family.
Absolutely, Georgia. There was a part of the clip where because I have tons of footage and audio and interviews. We've only shared a portion of it so far. And one of the videos, part of the video that we stopped at as we were watching it just a moment ago, was a young man who was talking about how he just felt like his voice didn't matter. What he had to say didn't matter. And I found that most of them were really nervous and embarrassed to even know that I knew about the urine bottles. They looked at me like, oh my goodness, how does he know about my shame? Well, we know about the shame, quote unquote shame, because we covered the news and we read the articles. But there's such a disconnect between what we do in politics and in media and what is actually happening in the real world that they were surprised that anybody even knew. But yeah, we knew about this months ago, but did anybody do anything about it? And now I think we have a really easy way to do something about it by everyone politely and kindly and thoughtfully and with empathy ask your drivers to show you their pee bottles, their urine bottles, so we can expose it.
And Ben, I think the other thing that we have to keep in mind is, nobody wants to work in a condition like that. And here is what, typically somebody is looking at. The American minimum wage is $7.25 an hour or abouts. And now if you go to Amazon and it's like, wow, I got a chance to make $18+ an hour. So Amazon is in effect pushing this, they're pushing this condition like, look at what you are working to. And so to the point of where we should all be absolutely concerned about it, because what Amazon is most concerned about is this capitalistic society and what they can do for their shareholders, of which I was one at one time. I've certainly invested in Amazon. And as of Friday, when the stock market closed, one share of Amazon would run you $3,344.94 for one share of Amazon. And that stock is looking to go up. So this is part of what happens. And then if too many people complain about it, now I guarantee you, Ben, that if you take a look at the turnover rate of workers inside of Amazon, now any organization can talk about the churn of its employees, the turnover rate of its employees. I would dare say that Amazon would probably have one of the highest turnover rates of anybody. I wouldn't be surprised if it was north of literally 100%. So as long as you got that turnover rate continuously happening, you cannot have a group of people who are going to galvanize and say, let's address this, because now you got a whole set of new people coming in who once said, well, shit, I was making $7.25 an hour. Now I'm making $18+ an hour. Things are good. Well, they're good until you begin to understand the deplorable work conditions that one is subjected to, similar to this this shocking piece of footage that you just gone out there to share with us.
And, I love the way you frame that, Brother Mac. And if I had to just give it a name, I'm going to call it the new boyfriend phenomenon, because they really do get away with a lot in those. And our new girlfriend, I don't care. The new relationship phenomenon is something that Amazon and a lot of businesses are able to get away with, because they know there's going to always be a new pool of labor who's excited about that new relationship until they realize how much they've been gaslit.
Right.
Well, and I think that's why it's so important at some point that a union is formed. I mean, we've seen this type of exploitation with other employers in the past, and usually the conditions aren't mitigated until a union is formed and you have the collective body of people in conjunction with other outside entities that can actively advocate for better conditions, better pay. And to me, I mean, when you talk about just the ability to use the bathroom, we're not in a third world country. And even if we were, we should still be actually advocating for just the basic human right of being able to access a restroom so that you can relieve yourself. I want to take a look back at this exclusive footage captured by Ben Dixon while he was on the road. I know we saw just a short clip there, 30 seconds, but there's more. Take a look at this.
Where all my deliveries are, so I have to keep a bottle for whenever I have to use the restroom.
That make you feel, man, but you have to do that, like as a human being. I mean,
how the world is going, I do what I gotta do to maintain me and mine. That's pretty much it. You know, I can't complain too much about it because to me, my voice don't even matter that much. You know.
About it.
Do you have a bottle in the van?
I mean, yeah, but usually I throw them out.
You've had to pee in your truck before?
Yes.
Why?
Because most of the areas we deliver in, they don't have any bathrooms around there, and not a lot of people want to stop, you know, and take time out of their route and get behind just to go pee. This is actually the second Amazon team I've worked for, and I've always done it.
And you've had to do it with both teams. Is it two different states or the same state?
Same state, two different warehouses.
Two different warehouses, same conditions, so you figure we'll see this across the country.
Yep.
This is the beginning of the day, and I'm not going to hold you up. Show us what you normally have to pee in. So when you're done eating, you pee in that.
Yep.
Right. It's more difficult. It's difficult. How does that make you feel as a human?
I mean, it made me feel away because, I mean, for men, it's easy. They can just pull up on the side of the road, whip it out, and pee. But women have to squat. So, of course, I'm going to do it in my van.
Do you know about the organizing in Bessemer, Alabama?
Is that a part of Amazonians? Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes, it
I'm
is.
fully familiar with it.
Yeah. So you would think that workers who have to pee in a bottle would want to unionize.
We don't get that, so we're still dealing with the same things we've been dealing with. That's why I'm still holding this bottle of pee in my hand right now.
Ben, I know you asked him there about forming a union, and Brother Mac, feel free to chime in on this as well. What is it going to take? I mean, they have 1.2 million employees nationwide. What is it going to take for them to be able to successfully form a union so that they don't have to keep peeing in bottles?
Yeah, you know, I would like to reverse that question just a little bit and say, how is it that Amazon was able to keep without having unions to the tune of 1.2 million employees? Like, how do you get that big without having major unions as a part of your workforce? And that's because Amazon has enough resources to stop unions. They actively participated in stopping the organizing efforts in Bessemer, Alabama, over the past year, where Black women were organizing to help the warehouse workers there to protect them from COVID-19 as well as better working conditions. But Amazon has enough attorneys and enough money to be able to buy a union-free existence.
But Ben, the other part about it is, again, that churn rate. That is absolutely important because, try to imagine that you have a group of employees who are concerned enough about this to do it. But when you realize that you're fighting such a juggernaut with such resources and you've been in those conditions for long enough and you just finally decide, you know what, check it out, I'm going to find a new job. So when the next group of employees come in there, they're not coming in there with that same fight, that same fervor to now look at trying to bring a union. But Ben, I do want to say this as well. You said at the early part of the show, it's one thing to read about it. It's quite another to actually see it. And I got to tell you, nothing can be more sobering because to look at the video, to listen to them tell that story and to know that these are the work conditions that they're working on, and then juxtapose that thought to the man who founded Amazon. Yeah. And now just as just a sidekick, I think I'll just take a trip into outer space at the expense of these types of working conditions. And unbelievable. And heaven forbid, don't even get me to talking about whether or not Amazon cares about climate change with electric trucks. Yeah. Don't talk to me about climate change when you do not even care about the very people who work for their organization. Unbelievable.
That's right. And Georgia, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Brother Christian Smalls. He's the Black brother who started organizing some Amazon workers, I believe, in a New York facility, trying to protect them from COVID-19. He got targeted by that media machine, by that PR attorney machine that is Amazon. And I've been working with him. I've been coordinating with him because I want to make sure that no matter what I'm out here doing, I'm out here just following my gut, following my instinct. But they are actually doing the organizing and the planning. So I've been able to coordinate with him to make sure that what we put out protects the workers exactly the way they need to be protected. And then I'm hoping we can get him to come on later on this week to speak with you or any of the hosts about the ongoing existing organizing efforts of Amazon workers.
And so, Ben, if you don't mind, the brother that you just cited, is he still an employee of Amazon? Because clearly one of the things we do know is that when you do have employees who speak out, they become a target. So is he still working at Amazon, and how is he surviving?
They targeted him well. He's no longer with Amazon, and he's surviving off of a GoFundMe. We've been able to, he started the GoFundMe, and they were pretty successful. And then a couple of us influencers got a hold of it, and we've been able to just share it and make sure that he's sustained.
Wow.
Well, and, Brother Mac, you talked about how sobering it is to actually see the video, even though we've heard the reports, to actually see the video of it. I don't know about you guys. I have a pretty sensitive intake for some of this stuff. And so when I keep seeing that bottle of urine fall out the truck, it turns my stomach, and, it just kind of just feel that feeling like I'm about to throw up, because it's nasty. It's disgusting. It's unsanitary. Yeah. And Ben, I heard you in the video say there, I'm not picking it up, and you shouldn't have to. And really neither should they, and you look at Jeff Bezos and what he's able to do on the profits. It is just so unfortunate that you have this level of greed and capitalism that continues to fuel these working conditions for 1.2 million people. I think that we are just scratching the surface, and Ben, I'd really like to applaud you for your courage in stepping up and getting the footage that you've gotten on this story, this exclusive footage. But I feel like we're just scratching the surface. It would be interesting to get a larger pool, and I'd like to do a call out. If you know someone who works at Amazon, inbox us. We'll definitely keep your identity anonymous. But we would really, really love to hear what your experiences have been. As you see, we've blurred out the faces, the people in the video that we're showing here to protect their identity and their livelihood. So your identity will not be released. But it is very important if you have people who work there, if you've worked there yourself. I actually had a cousin who I'm going to reach out to, who sustained an injury. And I thought maybe it was just an isolated incident, but I'm curious to know exactly what conditions were put in place so that he wouldn't be injured now, seeing these working conditions for employees. Because at the end of the day, when you're looking at your employees and you're telling them that they have to deliver a package every 3 minutes, there's absolutely no way that a driver can be successful in that many deliveries while also factoring in a restroom break. It's just not feasible.
Yeah.
George, let me see this, Ben. I am literally sitting here having just a very serious moment, to the point that, clearly I survived in my retirement off of my investments, and Amazon has been a very good stock for folks to come into. I'm trying to ask myself right now, Carl, how could you invest in that company understanding these conditions? And so when we talk about Jeff Bezos, I need for folks to understand this capitalistic society. This man has a net worth of $193 billion. Now, we almost become kind of glazed over about $1 billion. I need you to understand what $1 billion is in simple terms. $1 billion means that you can spend $1 million for 1,000 years. $1 million for 1,000 years. And this man has 193 of those. He will not, nobody with the name Bezos ever in his lineage will ever have to work. But so these two things are resonating with me. This is the capitalistic society we live in. And then now personally, first of all, I too want to applaud you for such sobering, such video, such work, to the point that for me, I don't know how I could ever invest in Amazon, understanding that. And I'm not simply questioning it. I just know deep in my soul right now, it's going to have to be some very desperate conditions for me to even want to invest in Amazon, knowing that these types of work conditions are what these workers are exposed to. And my heart goes out to the brother who you knew. So when you kept talking about how could they have so many employees and not have a union, because they effectively do this. reminiscence of the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry knew that they could never afford to lose a case. And if they did, it would come apart. This is what Amazon does. Anybody who speaks out, they must go after them with everything they got to shut them down. And then a message is sent to everybody else. If you want to lose this job that is paying you twice plus the American minimum wage, be quiet, shut it up, shut it down. So,
Brother Mac, I thank you for that, because I feel in there the spirit of BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction the hell out of Amazon until such time that they can do something simple, like put a porta potty with the Amazon access card on the side of the road. There are simple solutions to this. And matter of fact, most of the drivers have solutions for this problem. So I don't think that this is an existential threat for Amazon, nor should it be. But if they don't pay attention to this detail, then I think a campaign of boycotting and divesting from Amazon will be appropriate.
Well, I can't speak for... Go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it makes me wonder, where's OSHA on this, the Department of Labor? It just feels like there should be some type of federal intervention when these reports and accusations started coming out at the beginning of the year. And so I also want to know, where's our federal government on intervening on this huge corporation that has these poor working conditions? Because I feel like if a mom and pop shop had one report of misconduct like this, they would be shut down. And so it's important as we continue to look at the collective power that some of these corporations have to override basic employment laws. This is, it would be interesting to get a labor lawyer, employment lawyer on the line to find out what laws are being broken here. Is this legal? Because it doesn't feel like these types of working conditions meet OSHA standards. So where's the federal enforcement? Where's the federal enforcement? Why is there no intervention? And if we can't get federal intervention on this, then absolutely, I think when people, especially allies who say, I don't know what to do. I just, I'm just a school teacher. I'm just a banker. I'm just a nurse. I don't know how I can help. Well, we just heard from 3 or 4 Black Amazon employees. How you can help is either divest and make a stance with your money, put your money where your mouth is, or get on the phone and start calling the governor or the mayors where these warehouses are located. That's right. Or calling OSHA, calling the U.S. Department of Labor, submitting complaints, because no one in America, especially for a company whose CEO has that much retained profit, should be subjected to these types of working conditions.
Okay, Georgia, you've done it.
That's what I thought. That's what I just thought. Yeah, go ahead, bro, Mac.
Okay, Georgia, let me just say this. I promise everybody within the sound of my voice, I shall never, ever buy another share of Amazon stock. That's how compelling what I just heard. Between you and that footage man, I'm saying right now, my effort on the divestment side of it, I shall never, ever buy another share of Amazon stock, ever. And I'm saying that from a person who has invested almost 7 figures into Amazon before. So shall not.
Well, let me say this to the audience, because here's the dilemma. I'm only one man, and we have a great platform here, and this is amazing coverage. But we're not only fighting against the greed of capitalism, we're also fighting against this algorithm. We have to break through the algorithm. So I need every single person under the sound of my voice. This is what you can do to help. Ask your Amazon driver to show you their pee bottle. I want you to take a picture of it, and I want you to post it online. And then I want you to use the hashtag Amazon abuse. It's a statement first. Stop the hashtag Amazon abuse. If we get about 500 people posting pictures, and I know we could do that much. I may not have some of these other audiences sizes to just do it with one tweet. We can do it together. If you get the word out, we can change. This is one thing we can change. Because let me tell you, I was driving from Cleveland. And let me tell you, when I pulled over and you run into those bushes, you don't care where you go when you got to go on the side of the road, right? Can you imagine how good it would be for those drivers to be able to use the bathroom? I think we could fix that.
But Ben, think about this. Let's just think for 1 second that if you needed to put, since you gave the example of a porta potty, just imagine if you had to put porta potties across any area where you got large Amazon deliveries. This man has $193 billion. 193. He doesn't, the thought of it is just sickening. It is absolutely sickening. But the other thing I would say is that, family, listen, if you are to take a picture of the pee bottles, please keep in mind to do everything in your power to make sure that you protect the anonymity of these workers.
Yes, please. And actually, Brother Mac, thank you for saying that. Let me take that back. Don't put out a single photo of anybody. Send them to us we took, me and my wild ass neighbor Jimmy, when I got back in town with these photos, he insisted that he check and double check and triple check because I was telling him about it. And he's a working class dude. And he was like, Ben, you just got to make sure you protect everybody. So send the pictures to us. Send it to me, bpd@progressivearmy.com. Send the photos to me first, and I will make sure that we painstakingly blur out everything. That way we can protect those workers. Thank you, Brother Mac.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, as we close here, for those of you who are just joining us and you may have missed the clips there that we played, we're going to go ahead and end today's segment with the video. If we can just roll that video again. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are asking your Amazon drivers for those photos, sending them in, and we appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, just fell out the truck. We're going to leave it. Well, you know what? That means another worker has to get it. So I'm going to let you come pick it up. Tell me what this is.
Bottle of urine.
Whose urine is
my
it?
urine.
Why do you have a bottle of urine, brother?
Because I don't have the time to stop. So I have to keep up. And I don't have places around me where all my deliveries are. So I have to keep a bottle for whenever I have to use restroom.
That make you feel, man, that you have to do that, like as a human being.
How the world is going, I do what I gotta do to maintain me and mine. That's pretty much it. I can't complain too much about it because to me, my voice don't even matter that much.
Everybody.
Do you have a bottle in the van?
But usually I throw them out.
You've had to pee in your truck before?
Yes.
Why?
Because most of the areas we deliver in, they don't have any bathrooms around there. And not a lot of people want to stop, and take time out of their route and get behind just to go pee. This is actually the second Amazon team I've worked for, and I've always done it.
And you've had to do it with both teams.
Uh-huh.
Is it two different states or the same state?
Same state, two different warehouses.
Two different warehouses, same conditions. So you figure we'll see this across the country.
Yep.
This is the beginning of the day, and I'm not going to hold you up. Show us what you normally have to pee in. So when you're done eating, you pee in that.
Yep.
Right. It's more difficult. It's difficult. How does that make you feel as a human?
It made me feel away because for men it's easy. They can just pull over on the side of the road, whip it out, and pee. But women have to squat. So of course I'm gonna do it in my van.
Do you know about the organizing in Bessemer, Alabama?
Is that a part of Amazonians? Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, it
I'm
is.
fully familiar with it.
Yeah. So you would think that workers who have to pee in a bottle would want to unionize.
We don't get that, so we're still dealing with the same things we've been dealing with. That's why I'm still holding this bottle of pee in my hand right now.
City of mine, how I love.
Good morning, people. You know the voice. You know who it is. It's your boy GJ Exclusive James Bubba Williams is checking in on the scene. Good morning, everyone.
How I love.
everybody this morning that's checking us out this morning. Wherever you're streaming from, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Where am I forgetting? Facebook. Shout out to y'all. Good morning, man. Make sure you hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe. The Business Addiction Show is going down. Make sure that you stay tuned. We got more coming up next.
Live here forever, think it'd be for the better. I love the weather, even though it's fog 24/7. I love the people. This is the city I met all my best friends, and I wanna thank every break. I wanna thank every entrance to every building that I step in this city of mine. I owe you most my best moments in life. See, I fell in love for the first time in Golden Gate Park. I saw my first rap show at Great American Hall. I used to beg my homies for a ride across the bridge to goof off and spend the whole damn day doing whatever we want.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
And me and Jack would get stoney, walk around and get lost. Don't think I'll ever truly pay back all I was lucky to get just by walking through the city. No, I'm a small part of this.
This city of mine, it never gets me down. City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down.
I never really had a place to call my own, so I travel and I'm
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in, get your coffee, tea, whatever it is you need, your water, your alcohol, your wine, whatever it is you need.
I book a flight to
come on in, man. Get situated more on the Business Addiction Channel. Coming up next.
Just some time at. I mix and mingle with the people till I learn a little. I brought some weed and baby, maybe we could burn a little. She said you're funny. I said no, I'm David, and I left. Sun shining, birds chirping. Let me take
Shelby Hall, congratulations on that. Hey.
Chance to make it best. What people like to give a little, then you take the rest. I'm hoping one day maybe I
can find a place
I
appreciate you.
I fell in love with life and wonder where it take me next. I like the hustle and bustle. I fell in love with
that baby blue. That's what it is.
The city is moving me like a passion in its mind.
Ooh, B, bring me a glass, please, and bring the smoke. Okay. Good morning, B.
City of mine, how I love this city of mine. It never gets me down. Me and my hometown baby, we go way back. All the situations, circumstances, still we don't mind. Steady going on, I dance around the street lights. Hey, why don't you get it right down?
Susan, good morning.
Give it to me like you want it. Did you forget that golden rule? Why is our love it one-sided? It should really be give and take. Fill you up and leave me empty. Baby, was that my mistake? Covering these feelings, going through changes. I'm just so mad right now, I can't even think straight. So I'ma just tweet it and delete it, knowing you won't read it.
Shout out to everybody that's tweeting and deleting.
I need to clear my mind.
Man, don't delete it. Leave that tweet up. It's your tweet. Leave it up.
Just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line and we reach a point we
Lisa, good morning, Lisa.
rewind.
We'll get the roll call on our next break, transitioning to Like It or Not, all right?
Rewind. Tell me what choice I have now. I just wanna get it right with you. But if we try to talk about it, our history says we'll just argue. And I know you're gonna act a fool, and then no one could tell the difference between me and you, babe. Watching from a distance, hiding these feelings, keep on going through changes.
Marcus, this is actually the older music, Mark. You know, just have been playing it a long time.
Knowing you won't read it before we get too far away. I need to clear my mind. I'd rather just tweet it and delete it before we cross the line.
Y'all must have forgot about tweeting and deleting. Y'all don't remember tweeting and deleting? Come on, y'all.
I
could really use a change of scenery. Yeah, everybody's smoking all the greenery. Yeah, clothes and matches they were handed down to me, but I'm still fly. I'm still fly. I know. I'm still fly. I'm still fly. Let's go. a hater like you. It could was pills to make the man, but that poison.
Alicia, you don't remember that song? Get the Alicia.
From the inside.
Tweeted and deleted. I'll make sure I play it again. Okay, it's in the repertoire now.
I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young. I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. Oh. Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny.
Oh my gosh, Edward, if you could hear the DJ mix that I did over the weekend at this day party, I did some amazing stuff this weekend. I'm gonna have to drop that.
Let's go. It could all be worse. I could be a hater like you. It could close to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you. From the inside out. It's time to say it with your chest.
Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. I'm entering a contest and I may need y'all help, but I will let y'all know soon, okay?
Here and now. It's my time to ride it out.
Sister Savage Sweetheart, good morning, sister.
It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the screen. Oh, I got you. I'm ready. You sure?
Yeah,
okay.
I've got it.
Y'all welcome back to the screen. My brother from another mother who is not on the screen, but on the phone, Benjamin Dixon, brother Carl Mack, and look at David. Oh, and me. Hey, y'all.
David on the screen with Nina Turner. Listen, it came to me. I know what we need to do. I don't know if my friend Adriel Hampton is watching. He is quite the activist in these spaces. But James, you remember the Action Sprout app, Voices, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Remember we tried to use it as a way of supporting the show? It was the perfect app for people to log into and upload those pictures that we want them to get of those Amazon workers who have to carry around urine bottles. That way,
and you remember, it would have been a way for us to send out like the action plan of what we doing that week as well too. Just thinking about it again. Yeah, you could send out like certain things too. That's right.
Bro, wait a minute. We just revitalized that entire app. Hey, Adriel, tell those folks to call your folks to call my folks, because we need that app. Like all the business set aside, we'll take care of that. The most important thing is we need you to capture this moment because we're fighting against the algorithm itself. Because unless we break through to a certain level, this story, while it is moving, it won't go anywhere because the algorithm won't allow it. But if we get sufficient, what is that force, Brother Mac? Escape velocity. If we get sufficient escape velocity, we could break through the algorithm and actually do some good for the workers. That's all I have.
So Ben, speaking on that, I know that you posted this on Twitter. What has been the initial response to breaking the algorithm as far as people actually being able to see your tweet about this absolutely deplorable footage?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, to be honest with you, it's not going well. By this time, when I did the Michael Bloomberg story, by this many hours in, we were already at 7 million views. Right now, we're at 100,000 views. And so it's just not even comparable in terms of but I think the issue is just as important. Here's the thing that I am surprised with, Brother Mac. I'm surprised with the level. I'm surprised how far people will go to not allow themselves to get angry about something they see they should be angry about. Because I've seen people rationalize, oh, well, I've had to do that before. Or, well, you know, if they schedule themselves better, they could. I really have seen people who come from a lineage of survivors of slavery try to find a way to justify this, so, or at least try to find a way to not allow themselves to get angry over it, which I guess I can understand, because you got to reserve your anger for what you reserve your anger for.
Well, but, when you're talking about rationalizing it, at the top of that, one of the things that all of us as consumers, present company included, the idea that I can order what it would take me to go to the store, the inconvenience of going to get in my car, going to any place, and now I can simply go online, get it at possibly a cheaper price, and get it within a day or two. This is speaking to American culture, to the new consumer culture of wanting to get it cheaper, faster, and when you put those two pieces in place, it's very easy for people to go, hey, not a big deal. It's just a cost of capitalism. And what we have to keep in mind at one point,
Dwayne,
using children as labor was a cost of capitalism. Didn't make it right. Yeah. That's what happened. And we're absolutely
Bermac, hang on. Hang on one second. I want to do something. Dwayne, do me a favor. Put us in the 4-shot response shot. I want to have all 4 of us on the screen, and I want to make sure that B-roll stays rolling pretty much throughout the day. I know we do have some other stories we're going to cover. And David, I'm going to turn it over to you to allow you to navigate because obviously I'm not really tuned in on what's going on in the news. I can't be in the streets and watch the news at the same time. So, David, you can help me with that. But keep that B-roll going for us. And Brother Mac, please continue.
And Ben, let me just change on that. But another question that I want to ask is, so the sisters who were trying to have the movement within Amazon, we spoke earlier about the brother who spoke out about the
Christian
working
Smalls,
at Amazon up in New York, and ultimately Amazon, and you knew that it was going to happen. I mean, this is playbook 101. Those people who are trying to get reasonable work conditions, and if that comes to a cost, a capitalistic cost, then they're going to be targeted. They're going to be done away with. So the sisters who are trying to have the movement within Amazon, are they still employed within Amazon?
I'm not sure. Here's the thing. Amazon is ruthless. And I don't have to tell y'all that because all of our peoples work for Amazon. Everybody, listen, quiet as it's kept, I could have done this story in my backyard. But the reason I chose not to is because I don't need y'all coming to find where my backyard is. So it just so happens as I'm on my way back down from Ohio, and I'm going to protect this city like I'm going to protect my own city, obviously. But on my way back through that Tri-City area, there was a gas station that had very similarities to my neighborhood. I live in a predominantly Black neighborhood. OK, and so you have an expectation. You know exactly the kind of environment that it usually is. And there in the heart of the city was a gas station swarming with Amazon trucks. And every single one of the drivers I was able to talk to because they were Black and about my age or a little bit younger. Well, no, let me stop. They're young. You got to be young to do this work, Bubba. Man, my back is hurting, bro. That's it. That's all I got.
Unbelievable. And so, again, I think you also said that the brother who spoke out in New York, Amazon actually targeted him and he's no longer employed. How long ago did, from the moment he spoke out to the time that he ended up losing his job? Do you know that?
You know what? I'm not sure what that gap was. I'll ask him. I've been in touch with him. That's Christian Smalls. He's one of the main organizers that's traveling the country on behalf of Amazon workers. I think it was brief, Brother Mac. I think it was a matter of months because there was a full-blown campaign waged against this young man, Christian Smalls. And I can't imagine, listen, I've been doing this work for about 7, 8 years. 10 if you include my book. And I've yet to have the full force of a media. Well, I mean, CNN, but they're not Amazon. Amazon is a different beast. You're talking about that's almost an empire in and to itself. And they went after a young black man.
Yeah, but think about this too. And when we talk about the power of these corporations, when anything is coming against their bottom line, and without us having a voice, nothing will change. So just as we're seeing in the case of Amazon, again, keep in mind, Jeff Bezos, $193 billion. We have to keep in mind what that $1 billion means, right? And with all, he literally could have taken the amount of money he spent to go on a joyride into outer space and could have drastically improved these work conditions. I'm also sitting here thinking now of the great Allison Felix, right? Mm-hmm. So for those of us who may not remember, when Allison Felix, the greatest, the most decorated track and field athlete in American history, when this young sister decided she wanted to have a family and she was under contract with Nike, when Nike found out she was pregnant, they offered her 70% less within the contract, right? And without anything, this sister lend her voice, placed her voice against this type of abuse from Nike. Nike, whatever happened to this, just do it. So I'm not trying to take the shine away or the shine away from Amazon to Nike, but just to show you what these corporations will do. Here is the most decorated athlete in American track and field history. And when she decided she wanted to have a family, now Nike says, we're going to pay you 70% less of what we did with the contract. And to this, and what she ultimately did was testify before Congress. And now sports apparel companies all over the world have changed their policy towards female athletes. So all of this to say is that if we put our energy into the things that you talked about, divesting in Amazon, protesting Amazon, change will come. And just as I stated earlier, being to my heart, this piece of video footage that you have shown in line with the conversation that we had with Sister Georgia, I have absolutely committed at this point that I shall never invest in Amazon ever again. It just will not happen.
I hear that.
And I was going to say, at the beginning, Ben, I know you said that what was surprising is a lot of people weren't getting angry or upset over this. I think it's one of those things of, we know that we have to do what we have to do. And unfortunately, it's one of those things. But a lot of these, and I think a lot of the drivers even said it themselves, that they have to do what they have to do to survive and for their family. Because one of the things I was going to say was, hey, as a driver, you take care of yourself. I don't give a damn what job I'm working. If I have to use the bathroom, if it's going to set me behind, I'm going to stop because I have to.
That's right.
And I know a lot of these drivers, they're paid sometimes based off of how many deliveries they have. And then I know it's one of those things where they're given so many packages to deliver on that route by so much time or whatever. Sometimes my body comes first. So if I'm late for one delivery route, then I'll make it up on another one. But you just have to stop. You have to do what you have to do to protect your body. Sometimes the job ain't worth all of that shit. It's really not.
But you know what, Bubba? But Bubba, the other part of it is, look, as a consumer, I could tell you, if I'm supposed to get my product on Tuesday and it comes on Thursday, I ain't tripping. I'm not tripping no way, shape, form, or fashion. And again, when we talk about these drivers, I begrudge them nothing because trust and believe, if I'm working a job that pays $12 an hour and all of a sudden I know I could go somewhere else, Amazon, and make $18+ an hour. Without question, I'm going there. If I'm working a job that's $15 an hour and all of a sudden I can make $18 an hour, I'm going there. But nonetheless, in this society, being the other thing too is take a look at, one of the companies that first started this type of delivery service, which revolutionized the industry, is UPS or FedEx. Yeah. Are we having the same type of issues with UPS and FedEx drivers as we do with Amazon drivers?
Spoilers.
Uh-oh.
There's so much more to go. Stay tuned. There's part 2, part 3, and part 4 already in the works.
But look, man, and I got to tell you, because I'm sitting there thinking, well, if UPS and Amazon, UPS and FedEx can have this type of delivery of packages and mail without these type of deplorable conditions, but you went spoiler, so that might squelch my comparison a little bit. So a brother just kind of back it up, and
I would say hold the line on that, because I think there is a difference in magnitude. We are investigating multiple sides of this, but there is a difference in magnitude in terms of how many packages are expected to be delivered. And we have clarity on that. UPS, FedEx, other organizations versus Amazon, they don't have an expectation of you delivering 20 packages per hour. At first response, their reaction was, that's absurd. And so there's the absurdity is a sheer demand, the sheer demand. And if I were to be, let me be fair, because, I've been in corporate America and I went public with a company, and I do understand them. Listen, with the exception of being an evil monster villain of the narrative, clearly everyone does know that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are the villains of our narrative. I hope you've learned that much from literature and comic books, if nothing else. But setting that aside, I understand the pursuit of trying to find a way to capitalize on all this demand. Amazon is trying to keep up with the demand that we're giving Amazon. I think the real solution is maybe we don't give them that much demand anymore.
What we're being, not only is that part of the solution, but the other part is there is a balance to it. No different, and no matter what the situation is. We're talking about gun control, right? There are some people that says that this is a constitutional right. Do not touch my gun under no circumstances. Well, when we're seeing the number of school shootings that take place and children are being killed in a place that, when we grew up, the idea of a school shooting was absurd, right? Somewhere you have to find common ground. You got $193 billion, just you, not your corporation, just you.
Come on, man. Come
on. Somewhere, player, you got to be able to tell me there is some common ground about feeding this need, this demand that American culture and the world culture has given to wanting to get their products at a certain time. And the amount of money you can make. Somewhere there has to be a balance for that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me just say this. Pull up the. I don't have anything to say. I want to yield the floor to either James or David, but I do want us to pull up what Jeff Bezos did have to say. He said, "Thank you, Amazon workers." You're chuckling up. Thank you, Amazon workers, for sending him to space.
Right. Right.
Now, Ben, let me ask you this question. I know that, it came out in April. They apologized for, first of all, denying that this was happening, but then came back out and admitted that we apologize that this was true and we knew about it from the jump. Do you know, has there been any other updates? So, because when I searched for this, the only thing that came up was that apology from April. Have there been any more developments as far as Amazon doing anything to help out these employees to say, hey, okay, if you need to take a restroom break, you can log this as that or log this as that. I mean, every other truck driver that drive the 18-wheelers anyway, or any other delivery driver, they have records or logs that they keep that's going to make them, every stop that they make, they say something. So I'm wondering, has there been any other update on this, like going forward since all this has come out?
Spoilers, but I can give you something to look at. Look up the question of how many Amazon employees have died from COVID-19. If you search for that, you're going to find that Google basically stops at the very first report and the very first controversy around Amazon. That's the power of PR. That's the power of Amazon. They can control an entire narrative. So if you try to find, I want someone to try to find me. I should put out a bounty. Can somebody find me how many? I only got $50 to spare. We'll put out. Can somebody find me how many Amazon employees have died during the pandemic? Because if you can find that, then we can certainly find what Bubba's looking for. But I have a sneaky suspicion you will find out that answer is not going to be there.
Exactly. Because I remember searching for that, and it stopped at that one story I think we covered a while back, and looking for more, you just won't find anything else.
It's the spectacle of it all, folks. The absurdity of it all. Go ahead,
this
Brother
is what I found being quickly in that is that Amazon says 19,816 workers have contracted COVID. But then the only other, as far as death goes, 8th Amazon warehouse worker dies from COVID-19. And that was an NBC News story, right? But the other thing I want to say. From
what year? Could you tell people from what year that was? It was from 2020, right? March 2020, somewhere around there?
March 20, April, I think.
No. This is October 1st, 2020 that I'm looking at on this story. About the number of COVID workers. But yeah, the 8th worker that died, that was March 21st, 2020. Wow, you own that, man. Absolutely. But let me also say this in regards to if I stop. So try to put yourself in the mind of a worker, that if Amazon is saying you have to deliver so many packages per hour, you have to. And, if you consistently don't do that, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to be terminated, right? And now you're thinking, look, man, I was working a job where I was making $13, $14 an hour. Now I got this job making $18 an hour. Now, if you decide, hey, look, if I got to go, I got to go, and you start falling behind, it's not about you logging in anything. Trust and believe. There were people who were talking about the conspiracy of not wanting the vaccine because they get to track you. No, in this world of Amazon, trust and believe they know where every one of those trucks are, not at any hour. Every second, they know where those trucks are. So that algorithm that they got, that system they got, they are literally tracking every truck, every second, every package. They can do that. So if you have to stop for any other reason outside of delivering a package, trust and believe they know that. And if I'm a driver and I'm trying to hold on to this, what appears to be an upgrade in my life of a job, which again, you can't sneeze on that. If that's the price that I'm having to pay, I'm singing the song. That's just the way it is. That's the price of it.
Brother Matt, can I interject there? Because I think this is an important part of the conversation for all of us. Because James, you hit that on the head, man. Shout out to them boys out in that Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee area. Y'all ain't going to track them down. Y'all going to leave them folks alone. But shout out to them because they saw it as a badge of nobility, because that's the BS we fed ourselves in this country, that the harder we work, the further we get. So they see that it's a necessity. And and you know what? Some of us really, they're not by themselves, Brother Mac. There are those of us who see that the harder we work and the more abuse we put ourselves through, we feel better about ourselves because that's what America told us. And that's a lie.
Mm-hmm. But, Ben, the other thing about this outstanding footage that you were able to get, and I got to say it, it's one thing to read about it. It's another thing to be sitting here looking at the fact that this many drivers have to, as part of their job, their performance, have to piss in a bottle. So to read about it is one thing. To look at it is something totally different. But the other thing that was illuminating from this piece of footage that you got is you said that you spoke to 8 or 9, I think it was 8 drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 8 drivers, and out of the 8 drivers, 7 of them talked about this condition. The one driver who said he did not know anything was white. So one has to wonder, why is it that he doesn't have to, that he doesn't know about this, or this is not a condition? Is it because maybe in the areas, the routes that he has, there's plenty of convenient restrooms he can stop in if he needs to relieve himself, versus the routes that Black employees have to take, in which there are no restrooms available, and, quote, they're on the clock, being monitored by Big Brother?
I told y'all I live in a Black neighborhood.
You did.
And that's the thing. Now, and I'm not going to see because, something DeRay McKesson said to me the first time I met him. He said, the truth should radicalize you enough There's no need for me to inflame this. I don't have to use hyperbole. If what you see and your eyes show you don't upset you, I don't know what to tell you. But as for me and my consciousness, this is not ever going. I don't need a package this fast. And honestly, none of us need these packages this fast. Because honestly, the very best usage of the internet is what we're doing, not what we're spending.
Now, Ben, as a result of this footage, I went back because one of the things we talked about is, I think Georgia mentioned over 1 million employees that work at Amazon. And so the question was, because one of the things that I think we all inherently know is that one of the benefits of unions is to not only get increased wages, but to get better work conditions. So the question was, how in the world could there be this many Amazon employees subjected to these types of work conditions, not only here as drivers, but you got to believe that there are deplorable work conditions on the floor as well, because one of the things they talked about in an article that I read is that the same thing happens inside the factory, where your bathroom breaks are very much limited, and you have to be out there pounding that pavement inside those warehouses to get those packages ready and sent out. So the question became, why is it that with this many employees, they couldn't form a union? And I said, without knowing at the time, I gotta believe it has to be because the turnover rate is so great that by the time you find somebody who cares enough and has enough courage to get up and speak about it, you got to wonder if that person is going to be targeted, like the brother in New York who was targeted for speaking out. Now he's no longer there. So if you now eliminate him, that's one thing. But now just imagine that if the work conditions are so deplorable that by the time you get fed up and you think you want to speak about it, you just throwing your hands up and said, the hell with it, I'm out of here. So now you got a turnover rate. So I looked up what the turnover rate was with Amazon. And according to an article I read, it said that the churn rate, the turnover rate in Amazon is 150%.
Oh, my God.
Think about that.
Oh, my God.
And before you do, Ben, it's 9:04. We need to go ahead and take a break real quick, and let's get switched over before we won't get stuck on too long, okay?
Because I can't see nothing but my microphone right here. Do that, DJ Exclusive.
All right, y'all. Make sure that y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting up next.
Hey, so tell me what it is.
All right, y'all, while we're waiting to get Like It or Not started, let's go ahead and get our new patrons read off real quick. Tell me what it is, don't tell me what it ain't. They try to throw salt, it just made the pressure raise. Going through a phase, gotta get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy, they said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, real quick. All right, our new patron subscribers today, give me 1 second, let me switch over and let this sound on it. All right, new subscribers. Today we have Claire C, who increased their pledge. We have Nubalator, the Chicken Fried Dragon, who resubscribed on Twitch. Mimosa Dragon gifted a subscription to Yo Corey 0071, and JN Lee 1981 gifted a subscription to Nestle Wipes. Nestle Wipes. I saw what you did there. Shout out to everybody again that joined and increased their pledge or subscribed on Twitch. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We mean it. But you too can also become a member, a patron, and support the Benjamin Dixon Show on the Clock with Georgia Ford and Like It or Not with Rebecca Azor by going to patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not, y'all. Again, good morning, y'all. Make sure you stay tuned. Roll call starting up next.
You feeling higher than the sour. So I'm trying to feel how I feel inside her. So what she doing? She like nada. So she just chillin', about to get up in the shower. I said, alright, cool, I'ma be there in an hour.
Good morning again, y'all. Brother Chuck Diesel. Good morning, Environmental Coffee House. Patricia, good morning. On it goes. Uneasy. Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Love y'all. Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Six Dragon Daddy, good morning. And the Heart. Michael 147. Tyler Hackner, good morning. Afraid Not, good morning. B. Wakeland, Ricky, good morning, y'all. Ooh, let's see. Say the friend Elisa Noel, good morning.
Tell me what it is.
Marquez, brother Marquez, good morning. The lady 747, Sonny, right? Good morning to you.
Tell me what it is.
Brittany Woods, Jacob, good morning, y'all. KFC, brother Latif, good morning. I know you hear somewhere. Roller Dragon, what's going on? On and on it goes. Shamar, Lisa Noel again. Man, I'm just scrolling through all the chat room. Good morning, everybody. Ill Hustler, good morning. Infinite Content, good morning. Keegan, good morning. Brenda Johnson, good morning. Guten Morgen, Ricky. Guten Morgen.
Just give it up.
Laura Estrada, good morning. Good morning, Laura.
Don't call me up. Don't waste your time, cause I'll be your enemy. If you want love, look somewhere else. He'll find nothing.
Patricia, good morning. Shay. Terry Stacy, good morning. Goku. Justice Draconis, good morning.
Don't get me wrong. You and I could have fun together when I feel done with having fun on my own. It's better to care for yourself than rely on somebody else. So don't get me wrong.
Rosie Bean, good morning.
Just walk away, cause I got no intentions of hanging out with you tonight.
Say that, David. Say that, David.
If you want a problem, I'll give you a problem, alright. If you want love, just give it up.
Okay.
You got the wrong, you got the wrong, you got the wrong girl.
It does. Hello, Rebecca. You hear me, Rebecca?
This is my time. I'm feeling good.
Girl, don't get me started. Look.
See how I shine when I'm alone. Nothing can stop me. You should go out, meet someone else, someone who gets you. Don't stick
Y'all forgive my banter. I was talking to everybody in the background. Love you. I mean it.
not me. Don't get me wrong. You and I could have fun together when I feel done.
It's Truth the Dragon, good morning.
It's better to care for yourself than rely on somebody else. So don't get me wrong.
Laura Estrada, we're praying for you. We hope you feel good, Laura. Barbara, good morning, Barbara. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Everything about you makes me smile. I wanna be your best friend, your best friend. I wanna be around you all the time. You don't understand, you don't need to worry.
Melanie Dennis, good morning. Nat A, good morning, sister. Good morning. I know Nat M somewhere in the building too. All these Nats. What's going on, Nats?
You don't have to prove us to anyone. You don't need to worry. Go down now, stop it. Go down now, hold it. Go down now, baby. Go down, stop it, give it love. Go down now, stop it. Go down now, hold it. Go down now, baby. Go down, stop it, give it love. And I want you to meet my parents. Yeah. Now I'm including you in my whole world. With you, I'm so transparent. You tear down every wall that I built up. Now I wanna let you know that, yeah, everything about you makes
Tiger, what's going on, Tiger? Good morning. Esther, good morning.
best friend, your best friend. I wanna be around you all the time. You don't understand, you don't need to worry.
It's only because we play it so much.
You don't have to search no more. Love is all around, so baby, what's your hurry? You don't have to prove us to anyone. You don't need to worry.
All right, y'all. Like it or not, it's about to begin as normal. It's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Why does the mic sound like that?
It sounds like he's underwater all of a sudden.
And then
Really?
and then we have Dr. Carl Mack, who had like a little, one of those window computer pictures when you can't get it to load up. And then there's Ben's voice.
How do I sound, Rebecca? You'll be honest with me.
How are you guys doing this morning?
Doing good, sis.
Good.
That's probably like once every month. Every time I wear this hat, it always gives people the Rhythm Nation. Sometimes, and I got the Janet Jackson shirt too. So yeah, sometimes I wear it with that and really give y'all a little bit of Rhythm Nation. Ben, you said, how did you sound? You don't sound like your picture. You sound like you got on sweats.
and a t-shirt.
And a t-shirt with your legs kicked up.
Right.
Do I sound like
a cell phone?
Yeah.
Now I'm about to hit the streets again. I got to hit a new location because, like, one thing I learned in organizing last week was, don't overstay your welcome. Don't. I think we have to make sure we democratize the risk here. And so really quick, and Rebecca, I'm gonna get out the way. I'm moving location to location on this project to get the rest of the information I need from Amazon to make sure that none of the workers get in trouble. So that's what I mean.
So you're organizing, or you're helping to organize.
I'm just throwing an assist. I'm just bringing in some air support.
Yeah, because something that I heard in that video that you put together was that they didn't even understand. They knew about the other organizing that happened. They knew about what did they call it? The Amazonian strikes or whatever. They knew about those from
Bamazonians. For Alabama, yeah.
Bamazonians.
Bamazonians. They heard about that for that state. They heard about that organizing happening in New York. But here, one man was saying, I got to do what I got to do. Listen, I ain't trying to lose my job. Like, right. Basically that's what he was saying. And you were saying to him, like, have you thought about organizing? They didn't even really understand where you were going with that because that's not something on their mind. They're just like, I'm just trying to get these routes, even though I'm miserable, like my dignity where I got to pee in a bottle. I got to feed my kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to put my job safety in danger. Like, this is what I have. And you know what's crazy? It's crazy how that just rolled on out. And I know if it touched Ben would have been dead. Dead. You know what's he would have been like, oh my God. But you know what's crazy?
Y'all would be so proud of me.
The fact that you did this, I'm proud of you, because these people, you gave them a voice. And what he said in that video also, clearly he doesn't know that he has rights, and he feels like he honestly doesn't have a voice. And that to him was just like, I don't even have a voice. I'm just here for the check. That's really all they have me here for. And that's all that I knew that I can do is just come here, work. There might be things in the background that are sketchy, but if I say something, I may lose my job. Like who? And he really said, my voice doesn't matter. And that's what killed me. And what you're doing is helping them understand, hey, listen, I'm giving you a voice. You don't even know, but your voice does matter. There should never be. I don't care if it's Amazon. I don't care if it's the 7-Eleven up the street. I don't care if it's the thrift store. I don't care if it's volunteering. There should never be workplace abuse. It just should never be that. And then we shouldn't feel like we have to do these things that take away our dignity just to keep the job running. It doesn't pay us extra money to pee in this damn bottle. It keeps us at the same. We're getting paid the same rate. Going the extra mile does not get you paid extra money. And then I know I have a few friends, because where I live back home, there is a hub right behind my mother's house. And you'll see them all getting ready. And my cousin was one of the first ones like, hey, let's all go get a job at Amazon. It was during the panoramic. And they had the nerve to drop that hub right there. And everybody needed a job. A lot of the men and women locally in that area started working for them. And this peeing in the cup story is not something that I heard from social media. This is something that I heard from them in the conversation when we were sitting in my mom's house in the game room, and they were just talking how boys talk, and they're just like, man, I don't be trying to miss my routes, man. I just be whipping out the cup and peeing in it. And then when I saw about when you had that woman in the video, That killed me.
Rebecca, can I pause you for a second and say how for a minute there I thought you were talking about football players having to run their routes and having to pee in their cups. Funny how they got black folks dancing everywhere. Go ahead, sis.
Tap dancing, just out here a fool, just looking crazy for no reason. They out here thinking they have to be stripped down like this in the workplace. The woman killed me. She said, she told you, Ben, she's like, I got to get this wider cup because I'm a woman and I got to stay in the truck. I got to go in the back and pee in my van. Like, that kills me. There's a video that was floating around of an Amazon driver. She had to pee so bad. So she popped a squat near her van. People were upset. They're like, how dare she do this? It's unsanitary. It's in somebody's yard. She probably had to go so bad. So bad. You like
Rebecca, I'm
right.
just thinking
and I was about to say, I know a way to really get people mad about this. The way to really get people mad and want to do something about it. Think about already somebody peeing in their van while they're delivering packages. Now think about if they don't have time to pee in the van, stop and pee somewhere. Think about somebody peeing in their van and not having time to sanitize their hands. Now you got to deal with penis hands on your packages. Penis hands on your packages.
Not only penis, you should
hands. You should get the hell upset about that. Because now you're getting this unsanitized package.
You should definitely get upset. And at the same time, it's like, if you were that person, I couldn't imagine working where I had to go route to route and not be able to use the restroom. Working in New York, and there was a lot of places.
Rebecca, I'm sorry. I just while we're discussing this, Dwayne, I don't mean to do that to you on the spot. I love you, homie, man. But keep that B-roll up because I need people to understand. I need people to keep. See, this is what CNN does when they want us to go to war. All right, we ain't trying to go to war. We need unless it's the war, class war, right? So I'm so sorry, Rebecca. Go ahead.
It's like I can't imagine not being able to go use the restroom. There are people who have issues, right? Where they, with their bladder, where they'll have to go. I know, you guys know what's up with me. I get the worst cramps. I get just bad, right? And I've been on a train where I've been almost like having to crouch down on an unsanitary train. Like just, and I can't imagine the woman who are probably pregnant or who get the worst cramps or who have bladder issues, the men as well. And they can't do a thing, you guys, because they do not want to lose their job. My cousin was telling me, at first it was okay because we knew we could take about a 5-minute 5-minute stop real quick, run by the house. If the route was by the house, go ahead and use the restroom or run by a quick Walmart, or the store. And he's like, and we would look at our routes for the day and see that. He said, then they started sending out letters and saying, oh, you're 5 minutes behind or this and that. We're going to be monitoring that now. We're going to be checking that now. It's the fear that these workplaces will put into, their employees. And all I could think about when I see stuff like this is Jeff Bezos saying, after he took that flight to the moon, to space, after he done with his people to space. And then when he was asked about it, he said, I couldn't do it. He said, I couldn't do it if it wasn't for my employees, my Amazon, employees.
So the image that came to my mind, based on this outstanding footage that Ben has, is that when Jeff Bezos was up in space orbiting the Earth, he was pissing down on the employee workers on their head, trying to convince them it was raining.
Yeah,
come on, somebody,
or not.
we got all the sloganeering today, don't we? Hey, Jim Clyburn. Hey, Jim. I'm coming over to South Carolina 6th Congressional District. I want to see how the people are doing over there, but I digress.
But Ben,
look, I ain't gonna let that go.
Let me also say this: is that
Rebecca,
when we went back to the conversation of why there aren't any unions, I just literally Googled because I thought I saw somewhere where the law was going to allow for another vote to take place at the union, and so when Rebecca was saying that this brother felt like he didn't have a voice. So at that point, just imagine they're getting ready to vote as to whether or not they can have a union. So they're getting ready to vote in Bessemer, Alabama, as to whether or not my voice is going to be heard. And they said that the reason why most people voted no is for the very things that we were talking about just off the cuff, which is, look, I'm now working a job where I'm making $3-4 an hour more than I used to make. So my pay is better, my benefits are better. So I'm voting no on the union. And on top of that, the other factor that this article placed into it is that now you had this big anti-union campaign that was put forth by Amazon. So the combination of those three things is what caused so many people to say, no, we're going to vote no to the union. And now we have these type of deplorable work conditions that we're being exposed to.
It's super duper depressing to know that voting no may cause somebody to think that it benefits them, right? You have Christian Smalls who organized the one in New York, right, Ben? We had him on the show before, and just hearing him break down the story and him believing at one point that he didn't have a voice, and this was during the pandemic, and seeing that the work conditions there were just not suitable, especially at a time that we didn't have any answers. We
actually have that footage, Rebecca. I know we don't have it handy, but Dwayne or David, if you would grab Christian's interview from Like It or Not, it is recent enough, but it was before the vote. But everything else you're saying is in the interview would confirm exactly what you're saying, Rebecca.
Yeah, I mean, even hearing that it was before the vote, like, understand that this man was just working there. And then he was just looking like, COVID is real, guys. Like, the conditions that we're working in, we're just putting ourselves in harm's way, not knowing if somebody could die, and we're not protected under anything. There's nothing protecting us here. And they're telling us with signs in the building not to unionize, not to get together, not to join anything. And they're telling us what benefits us for not joining any groups that may protect us or organizations that may protect us. They literally put signs up where they were working. And this is why I think that when he finally stepped out, didn't know what was going to become of it. And it's not about popularity. It's literally about just saying, hey, this happened to me. I know what's happening to you. I'm going to be your voice. I'm going to be the person that says, hey, enough is enough. Whether or not it's 10 people that see it or 1,000 people that see it. This is not only going on here in Staten Island or wherever. This is going on everywhere to where we got the Amazonians. Now, Ben, you're getting them to understand that they have the power and the voice right here in Atlanta. And I need that to be crossing over where my cousin and them is at, working for Amazon. The abuse is too real. The money to them might be so great right in their minds because they haven't got paid $18 an hour before. They haven't got paid $22 an hour or $17 an hour plus of benefits, and weekends off. They haven't gotten that before. So to them, that is like a blessing, right? And then when they start working for them, the abuse and the stripping down and the slavery and all, like, you taking away from yourself. By the time you get home, you're mentally abused. You ain't got time for your kids. You ain't got time for yourself. You ain't got time to clean up. You ain't got nothing. You're just abusing. You got to do it all again. The only energy you have to give is to this company that you work for, the job that you work for.
It's their life suckers.
Yeah. No matter how much you're being beat down. And Amazon prides itself in doing that to their employees. So does the company that I work for. Like I told you, the conversations that go down inside the building. When COVID happened, they kept it a secret. That's why I can't wait to be released so I could really give y'all the tea. But they kept it a secret that someone had been exposed to COVID-19. We're talking in the early stages where I had to present to them before I left and say, hey, there's a rumor going around that you guys have not yet addressed. And lo and behold, it was not a rumor, because finally, once the CDC said what they said, which was less than an hour after I heard the news of someone being exposed to COVID and still coming with their child to the building because they didn't want to lose their job. And they were told they could not take that day off. Okay. And then the CDC came out and said, if you've been exposed, you cannot be around people. Then they also said, if you are in a building with 500 people or more, or in a space of 500 people or more, then they started dropping the numbers down, 200 people or more, 150, 50 people. And I'm like, and I had to write an email out. And, I'm like, are we going to address any of these matters? Are we going to address anything? Then when I finally found the contingency plan, let me tell you, it was hidden and buried behind so many links on the website. This is a huge corporation that did not have anything about the pandemic on their website at all. And I had to go and dig through that after I asked, what's the contingency plan? What's the plan? What does it look like for somebody who walks out of here because they're afraid, or is, because at the time, remember they were saying a certain age group, and that was our elderly. Well, what's going on with them? Do they have to come in? Can they leave? The people with kids, their kids who are being sent home, and schools that are closing with kids who cannot be watching themselves. What are you doing for them? I had to go through that, literally comb through that whole thing after finding it behind so much stuff, and send it to my whole team and let them know you are protected. They're not telling you that you are, but you are protected. And I walked out of there. Not knowing if I was going to have a job, honey. But I already knew, Rebecca, you already did your research. You already saw that you're protected because X, Y, and Z. You have a pre-existing condition. You don't feel comfortable in this building. There was somebody who we verified had COVID-19 who was downstairs in this building, and we did not know how it, what it was like. We didn't know nothing about COVID at the time. We didn't know anything. So I'm like, this thing could have been spreading. We don't know. And never got an apology, never got anything. I went home and didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't hear from my job for like 2 weeks. I was afraid that, damn, I'm going to be in the middle of this pandemic with no job. I can't lie, I was scared, but I also was like, I can't. They sat in meetings and said that we have to be robots, and that's okay. Like, this is exactly just like what Amazon is telling them. They peeing in cups. We see the footage. We see what's going on, but they're getting paid. The guy's telling you, man, this is what the people from Amazon are saying. He's literally saying that he's okay with this. He doesn't have a voice. He's all right with not having a voice, because that's what they told Christian Smalls. In our interview with him, Christian literally said how they got together, and in their emails towards each other, in their conversations towards each other, they said Christian is incompetent. He's dumb. He doesn't know anything. So this is going to be an easy, fair fight. Like, he doesn't know anything. So we can literally just get this to go away. And little did they know that just because he isn't as well spoken as they thought he wasn't, right? That's what they thought. Because he doesn't know anything and he looked a certain kind of way. They prejudged that man, not knowing that his voice would be
they ran up on the wrong one.
Than they can imagine. So, yeah, and I think that a lot of these corporations during this pandemic have been getting a slap in the face. Now, their power and their money usually does win, but the voices and the impact that it's having on people who are working at these places is bigger than it's ever was. I can say that. It's bigger than it ever was. So,
yeah.
I wanted to say real quick but shout out to all the people who are organizing, the Bamazonians. Those are the people that came out of Bessemer, Alabama, where I believe it was predominantly Black women who were organizing it. I could have that wrong, so I don't want to offend anyone if I have the wrong leadership. But shout out to all of the organizers, regardless, who are challenging Amazon from within. And shout out to the guys who are at that station. And that's those sisters who are at those stations that we ran into, because, here's the only difference that I want to make. They do know it's a problem, right? And they are organizing, but they have to balance. And it is a balance. How do you balance your vigilance? Well, Rebecca, heck, I guess I could just ask you, how do you balance your vigilance in your labor relations as a Black woman while having this big behind platform where your voice is heard every day? Shoot.
Yeah, it's crazy because on any given day, I would blast them. I don't care. But I care because that's my only source of income. I don't I get paid something here, but it's not enough for me to really sing like a motherfucking bird. Okay.
Right.
Maybe we need to put a bounty on that story.
And for I can't wait till I am able to just go ahead and let y'all know what's going on. But I have to balance it out. That's why the first thing that I heard when I saw this video was the man saying, listen, I want to say something. I don't even feel like my voice is really being heard. Now, I've moved past that stage. There was a point in time, Benjamin P. Dixon, that I worked in spaces where I felt like my voice was so tiny, not only in this news space, but even before that, I felt like my voice was so small. I would be the one to speak up later, but then it's like the abuse was already done. They were like, so listen, we'll replace you in 2 seconds. And I would just leave. I would leave without going in with any further conversation or telling them what was wrong or how they were abusing us as employees. I would just leave. And a lot of times it would be the managers who were taught to be superior, but like abusive to the employees. I never noticed that. I thought that was normal at some point. I thought taking people's hours away were normal because the manager didn't like the way that you said something. I thought that, having to stay past the time that you worked without getting paid overtime was normal because you had a task to do and you couldn't leave until you finished that task, even if it was folding shirts in the men's section. Okay.
Yeah.
So then when I started working in the news space, thinking that my voice didn't matter, I covered stories, you guys, that I did not agree with. That's floating in the damn Beyonce's internet. It's just out there. I covered stories that I did not agree with because I felt like, damn, I don't have a voice. But coming from a space where I did local news, you got to do these stories the way they're told. I mean, the way that they're telling you to give them. Even though I'm looking at it with my eyes, I know the truth. I have other sources that can verify because this network wants you to go with a certain tone for the story. Even though
can I give you an example?
The tone that you're stating, 1 second, Ben, the tone that you're stating, like I could be talking about Black women, right? But they want me to just say women. But I know how this particular subject affects Black women. And while a Black woman, is talking about this particular issue, right? Generally, and when we say generally, especially in the media space, it's really just talking about one person. That's like white people in white areas and those kind of things. But I'm like, me as a Black woman, knowing that this particular subject, whatever it may be, is affecting Black women at a high rate. And I said, can I put that in there? Can I put the numbers in there? Can I put the stats in there? Can we get a source that I know close to the story here on the show? It's no, automatically. I had to tell myself I'm doing a disservice when I do that. So when we were working at that particular place in that place, me and you, Ben, where I met you, and we finally were like, okay, we're doing a disservice when there's a big story about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. And we ain't covering this the way we should. We're talking about Donald Trump saying the words wrong to the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever. We're talking about that. When Colin Kaepernick is literally getting blacklisted for doing something that represents us. And Donald Trump is calling him a son of a bitch. People are literally taken to the streets in Charlottesville, Virginia, right? This is something that we should be talking about and sticking to as Black news anchors because we were told that they wanted diversity at this place. Having 2 Black news anchors would be amazing. And then one being somebody who speaks another language. It's so great. But yet when it comes to news that touch us, that are close to us, that can reach out to people that look like us, it was like, we're a little on that too much. And that's when I realized I can't let y'all own my voice. Ain't no way. It's just no way. We gotta leave this. Cause if y'all mad that we're talking, if you're mad that we're talking about stories that are happening and they're affecting Black people and and we had to label them Black stories, y'all. Regular ass stories that's happening in the world. We had to label them Black stories. It's crazy.
You're gonna make me go get on my real microphone in a minute here, Rebecca Azor. You better preach, black woman. No, you preaching and you're bringing up memories. But I'm not sure which location you're talking about, because that happened to me everywhere I went. Right. Every media place that I tried to do this kind of work with, I experienced exactly what you're saying. So I know which one we met at, but I just know it happened. I mean, it happens everywhere. Hell, it's so effective that black people do it to ourselves. Yep. So it becomes extremely necessary for us to do what we do, what Georgia Ford says all the time, as we got to control our narrative. Now, y'all, I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. And I'm trying not to go, what's the name? DJ Exclusive, you're going to have to help me. I know the movie's Players Club. What's the name of Bernie Mac's role in Players Club?
They've been trying to get this all weekend.
Dollar Bill.
Terrible. Dollar Bill.
I don't want to have to go full Dollar Bill, Creflo Dollar Bill. That's what we're going to call this mode. But y'all, I done built a whole damn network so that we can control our own narrative. I done built the whole damn show team with the whole crew of people, the most talented people I ever met in my life. Because we need to control our own narrative. Because labor issues are black issues. Because who the hell do you think is labor force? Who do you think is out here? These are black people. So labor issues are black issues. But we built this together. We went through all these transitions together. And I done burned it down. I burned it down to the ground so that we can get to this point. Now, the rest of it is up to y'all. Now, if I got to go Creflo Dollar or Dollar Bill or Creflo Dollar Bill, either way, y'all run. Don't even send it to don't send it to YouTube, because YouTube takes too big of a cut. Y'all find my Patreon. Y'all sign up for Patreon. Y'all support this kind of work, because I got parts 2, 3, and 4, and I'm just getting started. So if y'all want us to be able to do this kind of media, like Rebecca said, where we control the narrative and we ain't got to talk about Donald Duck, Trump, whoever the hell all the time, empower the media to be told by the people who are living it. And that's black people and progressive and workers.
So fam, let me ask the question. Given this footage, this very shocking and sobering footage, man, that you placed in front of us and in front of the world, in our perfect world as it applies to black folks, what would Amazon, what would happen? What would we do in a situation like this? What's the solution?
I mean, as we discussed, Brother Mac, I think the simplest solution is for Amazon to leverage their relationships in every single community. They clearly have the city councils and the mayorship under their control. No question. Leverage that relationship. If you want some corporate advice, I should charge you for this. Here's the easy way out. I won't change, not your money. Leverage your relationships to find designated locations for drivers to be able to get safe, COVID-friendly access to restrooms. No questions asked, no purchase necessary. Done.
Well, Ben, one of the other solutions is this. If they can put a toilet on an airplane, clearly and these trucks are specially built for Amazon. There is no reason why you couldn't put a toilet in one of these trucks and still have that. And so the reason I ask what the solution is because of this. There is no doubt that there is a good that Amazon brings to our community. Now, if they weren't there and unemployment is skyrocketing, what, we're going to look at that and try to find something glorious about that? So there is something good. They're bringing higher wages. They're bringing benefits. And I'm talking about benefits that from the jump street, from day one, you got full medical benefits. Okay, I'm going to give a plus to that. Now, these working conditions are something totally different. So it's just difficult for me to believe that through the good that you're bringing, that somehow this solution, you can't come up with the solution. And the only thing that I can come up with is that, goddamn, you that greedy? You are Jeff Bezos, you're worth $193 billion. You mean to tell me that you could, bro, who did he just give money to? Vance? How much did he give?
Yeah, Van Jones.
$1 million. $1 million.
No, it's like $150 million. It's some obscene amount of money.
Okay. Now, I don't know.
Because I'm on Little Baby Million, honey. It's 100 million. That's what Dwayne said. Yeah.
Listen, and I'm not trying to rain on Van's parade either, right? But I'm just simply saying this. Jeff Bezos, look how you throw money around. You decide you want to take a little joyride to space. You want to give a brother $150 million. You worth $193 billion. That means that you could spend $193 million every year for 1,000 years. Damn, player, you're trying to tell me somewhere in the midst of all this shit, with what good you bring to the table, you can't piss. You gotta go to space and piss on our head at the same time. God damn, player. Come on, Bezos. Don't be bozo. Like it or not.
But the thing is, the money and power is, like I said, and I hate to say it, it always wins, because no matter how much Christian Smalls yelled, but the effect that it's had is so much bigger than what people have thought. But do you think Jeff looked at that and it tickled him in any way? No. He was just like, who? I'm going up to space. You think I got time for some Christian Small? Like, y'all handle that. I'm going up to space. And he chose Van Jones the same way that Trump chose Van Jones. Like, it's kind of like.
But Rebecca, trust and believe this, though. Trust and believe this about the powerful. They still want the reputation of being humanitarians. That's why you go back, you look at J. Paul Getty, you look at the Rockefellers. These were some ruthless businessmen. They were ruthless. But then what did they do? They gave great amounts of their fortune to give the appearance that they were great humanitarians. Nothing, the same is with Bezos. So trust and believe that this brother's speaking out about the conditions at Amazon. This is why they put so many resources to shut it down, because they do want to paint a narrative that they're very good people. They do. They want to do that.
So I agree with you, but it's 2021, right? So it's totally different. We see right through it. Like, we talk about this all the time. Back then, they could literally try to make themselves humanitarians by giving their money and giving their fortune away, and we'd be like, well, they did this, well, they did this. We don't give a damn that Jeff Bezos gave that man $100 million. I mean, I'm jealous. Shoot, what's up with it? That's money, and we all want money, right? But we're still looking at the abuse. The conversation for many, especially in these social media spaces, is going to be, well, he gave this money up, but the Amazon workers are still being abused. This is still a big conversation, which I think that's the effect that I'm talking about. But Rebecca, the power.
Go ahead. But that's why I'm saying we don't see through it in 2021, because if we saw through it in 2021 with over 1 million employees, with the number of Black folks who are consumers, we would absolutely demand change. So I have to push back and disagree that in 2021 we don't see right through it. We see Dr.
Karl Mack, the fear of losing your job, people see it, people feel it, people understand it. But the fear of losing your job is huge. I watched people literally make the case and go up to their managers and supervisors and their leaders and say, hey, I need to go home to my kid. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. This is da-da-da. And they're like, well, we won't cover your day. We won't pay you. So the fear of not being able to take care of your kids or whatever you need to take care of, that is like, they're like, I want to fight this. I really, really do. But I don't know what it's going to look like for my child. I don't know what it's going to look like for me. I don't know if I'm going to have a home. I don't know. Some people really have that fear, and it's crippling. So that's what I'm saying, that power. And like, they know, and some people are well aware that, this is something that should be fought. But the way that they're placing fear, and they know who to target when they place this fear into people, it's people like where I'm from, and the location of where, like my cousins and them, they literally sat in that room and broke down the abuse and broke down what's not right and broke down how these people are Amazon, how Amazon is literally doing this to everybody in this area. Everybody has the same story. These peeing in the cups or peeing on the side of the street and getting in trouble, just being afraid to miss a route because that could possibly get your job security in trouble. We're talking about people who are felons who weren't able to get a job, and this is their first opportunity to get some kind of pay. That fear will cripple you into not being able to organize. You want to so bad, but you just don't know what that's going to look like for your life. You just don't.
Which brings me back to the point of when you look at the wealth inside of Amazon, I'm just boggled inside of my mind of why, and being, as you stated in this footage, the Amazon employees, they know, and Sister Rebecca, you said the same thing, they know what the abuse is. So if you know what the problem is, you know what the solution is. And it just boggles my mind that Amazon will not sit down and have it all. You can have world domination and this oneness of humanity where you treat your employees in a way that's far more favorable than what you're doing. So being just like you said, if you want to talk about how to fix the restroom issues, simple. Amazon is having these trucks specially built. You cannot tell me that you cannot build a toilet right there inside that. The same way you do a porta potty, you can build one right inside that truck and eliminate that issue. If you pull together all the brothers and sisters, Rebecca, pull all your cousins together and have them sit down with the leadership and say, look, here are the problems and here's a fix for it. They can easily do this. And at the same time, Bezos, you're probably going to make $293 billion at that point. It's not a difficult solution. So what boggles my mind is why they don't sit down and just simply do the right thing.
So, and I mean, I wish that it was so easy. Yes, the solution sounds easy, right? But they put so many roadblocks in our way to make sure that we can't even get in touch with the leaders. I remember, you know, when my cousin was like, I just want to talk to somebody in there about, you know, what's going on, and also getting my sibling a job here who needs some income. He said, I sat near one of the leaders of this particular hub, and I turned to speak with him, and he put his hand up like, who are you? Like, I know that you're one of the employees, but whatever. And he said he put his hand up. And then he said he waited till he got off the cell phone or whatever and asked him, hey, I would love to have a conversation with you. I've been trying to reach out to you. I emailed you, things like that. And he said, well, can you get back in touch with such and such? And that's, I think, the front desk person at the hub or whatever. And he'll get back to me. He said, I've never, at that point, never seen that man again and never was able to get in touch with him. They told me to email him at his main email, never got an email back. So a lot of times these leaders in your community or at these corporations who are the leaders and the faces of these corporations, while the head just goes up to space and stuff, they're unattainable. You can't get to them. And they do that on purpose. They do that on purpose.
But this is why this investigative footage that Ben has brought to us and to everyone, this is why this is so important. Because now, if enough of this gets out, and I would encourage all of us to simply post this, and yeah, we know we up against the algorithm, but just through the tyranny of numbers, if all of us put this out, now, as an employee, I may not be able to get the Bezos, but outside of that company with the kind of pressure in this network, this system of us controlling our own narrative, we simply get this word out instead of trying to bring the mountain to Muhammad. Well, now you get to bring Muhammad to the mountain.
Come on now.
Now, and you understand what it's going to take is strength in numbers. Is strengthen the numbers of consumers not purchasing. Let me take a day. You take one day to boycott Amazon from ordering is going to hit those pockets. And then another thing, do a strike. Amazon workers do a strike. Is strength in numbers because these packages aren't getting delivered. So if you do a strike and you have that many employees not doing it, that's how your voice is going to get heard. And I feel what Rebecca is saying, because it's so many levels that this is going to go to. Jeff Bezos, he probably don't even see none of this shit, y'all. Let's be honest. Let's call the thing a thing. Jeff don't see none of this. It's so many different levels, divisions. You got Eastern, North, West, whatever, that you have to go through just to even get a point across. So let's go get to that one lonely ass person that's at the bottom of that totem pole, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, just deny it. It's all right. They'll be okay. And then when it finally comes out, oh, yeah, we're sorry. We lied about that. And that's the end of it. So what has to happen, it has to be strengthened numbers where these employees of Amazon, including the warehouse, because the warehouse is no better. They're peeing in the warehouse too, can't take breaks. They're getting injured and can't get any medical assistance. I'd have a friend that hurt himself on the job. And basically they said, if you quit, then you won't get nothing. Basically, you're just going to have to work with a broke hand. So the way to get all of this shit, you gotta boycott. You got to strike, do whatever you can to get this up to enough people to see it. You got to.
And Bubba, not only is it strength in numbers, but it's also being strategic when you strike. So let's assume that we strike on Amazon Prime Day. Because trust and believe, when you're watching CNBC and you're looking at the investment news, on Prime Day, every outlet is covering what the numbers are on Prime Day. So just imagine if our strike against Amazon was strategically placed to take place on Amazon Prime Day. Now you're making a statement.
So you know, and I love what you're saying, Bubba. I get it. Like, if we hit them where it hurts, their pockets, things like that. We did a strike with Amazon, or tried to, somewhere along the pandemic. And they made a lot of money this 2020. Same thing with the corporation that I work for, right? I started talking my talk on social media, and some of the things that I said went viral. A few things changed, right? They started saying, okay, if you've been affected in any way during the pandemic, we're going to remove that fee for you. After I was talking my talk and my talk went viral, we're going to remove that fee for you. Because at the time you had to say a certain key word for the removal of the fee. And I put that all on social media because it was during the pandemic and I was feeling a little froggy. Didn't know if I was going to have a job. So I was just like, I might as well sing like a bird at that point. But when I said what I said, they started changing some policies, sending out emails saying, if you've been affected in any way, just let us know and we can do X, Y, Z. And then if there's a particular fee, we are waiving fees for people who have gotten the fee during the pandemic. If we all work, then they started doing these things. If we all work together, we can get through this. And, no overdraft fee for you, no overdraft fee for you, no overdraft fee for you, that kind of thing, right? Then quietly remove that when people started to, when they thought the pandemic was over and it was still like a little fresh. They took that away.
Hey, Rebecca.
You started, yes?
Yeah, I know exactly about that. Quiet as it's kept, that, a lot of people know about that. They just not going to speak up and say that they were in the overdraft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know that though, because they put that fear in people too. They put that fear in people who banking with them. Literally, they will say, we took away 2 overdraft fees for you 3 months ago, so you do not qualify. You don't qualify. But then if you say something like, but it looks like you guys took out money, so I was overdrafted because you took money out when there was no money in there. Oh, well, you know what? Let me take a look at this. All right. We'll do a courtesy removal for you. They will never own up. They'll say, we'll do a one-time courtesy removal for you on this account. And now you're saying, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's why I say I feel like I'm doing a deal with the devil every time I'm doing that to a customer or a client. Because I'm looking and I'm like, you are so right. We were in the wrong. But we are taught not to take ownership. And so we're taught to they literally teach you this, y'all. They will say this in the meetings. The customer was wrong. The customer was wrong. We're not going to take ownership in this particular. We're not doing that. The customer was wrong, but I'm like, but we can prove. Well, what if we can prove? Well, if we're just going to make it a courtesy to make them feel like we're doing them a favor. And I can't, that doesn't sit right with me. So, you
gotta take into, you don't have to take into consideration. Let me start the sentence that way. I'm going to learn to speak differently. You don't have to take into consideration the fact that it is in Amazon's best interest, and we'll use them as a proxy for all those corporations. How about that? It is in Amazon's best interest to behave like that, right? Because it does save them on average. When you're talking about all these millions of people, it is more beneficial for them to give you such. There's a couple things I need to hold close to my chest because it's giving me my path towards, I knew where to find the pee bottles, so we're going to find out where the rest of this stuff is because, Brother Mac, I think you're hitting on something. All of y'all are hitting on something. I think it's part of, Rebecca, what you're saying. People have a overwhelming fear of survival, and that's natural, isn't it? And so because all of these companies have monetized our survival, they have been able to keep us even working in the pandemic when we know we should be home taking care of our kids, trying to protect. That's how we got 630,000 dead, because they are more concerned about their quarterly profit margins than they are our actual lives.
Yeah, look, they're doing a lot right now. We're seeing with the flights, right? So much happening surrounding the flights. I ain't talking about the fights that's happening in the airport, but that could be the stress of not knowing when you're going to get on your damn flight. A lot of the workers are striking out because of the conditions that they're working under. And a lot of these airlines, when you search for it now, a lot of these airlines are now saying it's not a strike. It's not but when you go on social media, a lot of these people who work for these airlines are saying it's indeed a strike. These conditions are terrible. So we've left, and now they're looking for people to fill in the workspaces, but it's abuse. So they've caused a strike, which is now affecting the people who fly. And it's affecting the companies because the waits are through the roof. You may go to the airport now. I know a few people who've gone to the airport within the last 2 weeks, and their flights have been pushed back. And these are on reliable airlines like Delta and like American. These flights been pushed back 3 times in a day to the point where they didn't know when the flights were coming and just told people, you can go home if you want to, and we'll just credit you. Some people are stuck in airports for 24 hours. So it's like, people, the people that are talking about it are saying the condition that they were working in have been terrible. The treatment that they're getting from the particular corporations that they're working for or the airlines that they're working for haven't been the best. This includes flight attendants, the pilots, and people who are working in the offices or in the airports. All of them.
Oh yeah, because Spirit is real bad right now. They try to say that it was like employees just not working or just some other stuff going on. Spirit has canceled more than half of their flights over the past maybe week or two, and Hartsfield Atlanta Airport. A mess because they're constantly now canceling all of their flights. So these people, these pilots, flight attendants, they're fed up. They're sick of it. And so it's like you said, Rebecca, they're not calling it a strike. They're just not showing up to work.
They're actually calling it disruptions. I don't know what disruptions mean, but they're calling it disruptions. I'm reading this straight from CNBC. They said American Airlines and Spirit airline passengers have faced hundreds of cancellations and delays since Sunday as the carriers struggle to recover from disruptions. Listen to what they're saying it's caused by: severe thunderstorms and staffing constraints. They don't want to. They do not want to word it as a strike. And then more than 370 flights, or 12% of Americans' mainline schedule, had been canceled as of Tuesday afternoon, and disruptions appeared to be leveling off, according to flight tracking site
Well, now.
More than 120 of those cancellations were due to lack of crews, while 40 were triggered by bad weather. Okay, let's look at the numbers. More than 120 of those cancellations, but they want to talk about the 40 that were triggered by bad weather. We know when we're on a flight, we'll get the notifications about bad weather as the flight approaches. No. My friend was telling me, I'm like, did they email you? Did they tell you anything? Did you get any text messages? Did you get any notifications at all that your flight would be pushed back? No, not 5 minutes until we were supposed to board. 5 minutes until they were supposed to board. This wasn't weather related. 5 minutes until they were supposed to board, they got delayed 2 hours, right? 5 minutes after they were supposed to board, they got delayed another 2 hours.
Right.
Then there was no one at the front desk at all.
What you're saying is that's a nonsensical explanation they're throwing out. That's a red herring.
And they're labeling it. Yeah. They're labeling it disruption. They say close to 3,000 American flights were canceled or delayed between Sunday. So, I know that the weather is bad. I know that the weather is bad, but I've never seen so much of this stuff going on when the real conversation is abuse in the workplace.
Can y'all help me with this? Am I reading now that with the new Delta variant and COVID working together, that we're now up to over 100,000 cases a day?
Yeah, Florida literally is.
That's the newest. Yeah, that was the newest information that came out, Dr. Mack. I saw that yesterday. Over 100,000 cases daily now.
That's why I'm sitting my ass at home. Okay, this weekend I had a great time, and then I saw, and then I see that the variants were the Delta variant was pushing up. I saw it in the spot I was at. I was looking around. I said, Delta looked like it's in the room. And meanwhile, the place that I went to, you had to be vaccinated to be in there. You had to show your vaccination card to get into this place. But yeah, Delta was in the room, and it could still be on you, and you can take it to your kids, you can take it to your grandmother, you can take it to family members. Delta was definitely in the room. Yeah, it sure was. I think we should take a quick break before we get back on this conversation about COVID, but because I know it's about to get real deep, because there's a lot of COVID conversation I think we should touch on, because I think people are missing the point when we're talking about COVID-19, Delta variant, whatever variants that are coming through. But let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with more Like It or Not after this.
All right, y'all, make sure you stay tuned. Let me get the music going. Boom. There we go. Shout out brother Nick Eden in the chat room. What's going on, Nick? Wow, Infinite Content said, and the Sturdy Spike rally is currently happening. Remember the spikes that happened after that last year? Oh man, you're right, Infinite Content. I know. All right. Well, Dr. Mack had to leave. Dr. Mack, we'll see you in a couple of days, Doc.
Even when I die, I'm a ride for the squad. Let her ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kind of hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine.
Justice, good morning. Justice, good morning.
In the night to realize I'm in the middle with the
shout out to Justice, y'all, man. I saw some footage of Justice from this weekend. Justice, when I tell you, I can't even do it. Justice, make sure that you send me a video so I can play it on the show, okay?
Be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same. We all want a meal in the safe. I want to live like I'm trying.
Lena L, this song is called Earth, and it is by Xavier Rousseau and Tilden Park.
Makes sense, because you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the
Charisma, shout out from the Bay. Charisma, what's going on? Welcome. Bernie Hart, good morning. Bernie Hart says, good morning, Bubba. You handsome devil.
5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, could you see me
Black Magic, good morning. Courtney SLP, good morning, y'all.
Burn it down, sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
From the glass in the mirror, yeah. Do it at me, old man, trying to pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear.
Kareem, good morning, Kareem.
But I couldn't see that, and he cleared down.
Mara Sharice, I know Mara ain't here somewhere. Good morning, Mara.
I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Either light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list.
I'm a little bit naughty, I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run away from
Tiger said, if y'all want to hear about the conditions of warehouses during COVID, hit me up. I got some wild stories of employees. Oh yeah, I heard about enough of them, a lot of them. Lisa Noel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Lisa Noel said, Bubba Boo, happy. That's the wrong one. Lisa Noel said, Bubba, you are a handsome guy. Don't blow my head up. Courtney SLP said, Bubba Boo, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Monday.
Yeah. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't
the Benjamin Nixon show. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Bye-bye. 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 You're a little bit selfish.
That's what I figured, David.
You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse. Come a little bit closer. Yeah, I can really start over. Yeah, in the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure.
Right.
Yeah, I can finally start over. Yeah. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly.
What did we have from last week?
Bye-bye. 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 Here's to the memories. Cheers to used to be. Your friend said that you left me.
Probably because you chewing. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all.
That doesn't treat them right.
They are wilding in the background. Like the headphones that you sent us other way.
That's how you spell goodbye.
I can't stand y'all.
You never see me.
And Rebecca gonna cuss me out.
You stayed home and be nice. Boy, I will be gone all night. I can't find by myself, 'cause I won't be here alone.
On the teeth, that's dope as hell, man. I know she is nervous. Tell her everything is gonna be okay.
You don't know until it's gone.
Laura Estrada, you know I ain't got no sense.
You don't know what I am worth. Your words are like bullets now. Sometimes they hurt. I stay high.
Suck diesel. What's going on with the show?
Out of reach, won't be coming down. I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till it ends. I'm gonna tap on your shoulder, and I don't need to pretend. Yeah, we are alright. We'll spend a night.
Laura Estrada. Terry Stacy, good morning. Shout out to Marquez. Marquez says, since Bubba has no sense, tip the DJ. That's right. He has no sense. CENTS. Absolutely right. $DJ X3C. $DJ X3C. Love y'all, mean it. Lady 747, thank you, ma'am. Bubba, I can't stand you, but I love you. Appreciate that, Lady 747. Lisa Noel said, you guys make my day. Love you, fam. Lisa Noel, we love you too, and we appreciate y'all. Appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much. Courtney, don't get me started. Okay, see, Courtney asked the question, so now Bubba has to provide.
You don't know what I am worth. Your words are like bullets now.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Bubba's bad dad joke of the day. So let's see which one I got.
Out of reach, won't be coming down. I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till it's ends.
Okay, here we go. Do you want to bring Rebecca on screen for the joke? Yeah, let's bring Rebecca on screen for the joke so she can hear. I know Dwayne, that was audible. Okay, here we go. You ready?
I wasn't ready, but I'm here.
Okay, good. There we go. Good.
Right.
What do you call a factory that makes okay products?
Okay, what do you call a factory that makes okay?
Damn, time's up. A satisfactory.
Oh, okay. I get it though.
I'm here all week. A satisfactory. Yeah.
Is that the only? Okay, so what's the next joke? I feel like I wasn't ready for that one.
You feel like you need another one? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why.
Oh, I only know because why? How many letters are in the alphabet?
28, ain't it?
Oh, I don't know why. So if there's 20, I'm not really not picking up what you're putting down.
Those were terrible. I don't like those from that one, man. That was sucked. I'm like, man,
I wasn't picking up what you were putting down. I didn't get it. I'm so sorry. I didn't get it. But I love your dad joke moments, though. I like.
Okay. Absolutely. Hey, real quick though. Imagine if you walked into a bar and there was a long line of people waiting to take a swing at you. That's the punchline.
Oh, I'm about to say, because I'm swinging back. I'm swinging back. What's up? That's where I'm running.
I'm swinging back. The hell you talking about?
What, depending on what it looks like. Like, yeah.
Terrible. Okay, that's it for my dad jokes. Y'all need to start making these jokes on, because I'm going to keep dropping terrible jokes every day just for y'all, okay?
So, So as we return with Like It or Not, you see it's just me and Bubba. Didn't even know it was going to be just me and Bubba. Looks like we lost Ben Dixon's connection, which probably Ben was like, I'm tired of the show. I'm out of here. And Dr. Carl Mack actually said he had something to get done. So that is why he is not with us now. But it is me and Bubba, and we're going to give you more Like It or Not. Before we talk about COVID-19, though, I wanted to just play some Black Joy. I wanted to get back into us, and I know you did too, Bubba, us just kind of breaking up those hard stories or those tough conversations. You haven't downloaded it yet, so we won't go there then, Dwayne. But it's good for us to break up those conversations, right? Especially here on the show. That's always been our motive that I think that we've been steering from, just to leave people with something positive, at least, weekly, because we're gonna get those tough stories out while we talk about, as my little wig piece shows here, she ain't glued down. But as we talk about these stories and we go back to those workplaces, I'm not trying to tell you how to go back and be like, forget you. Rebecca told me. Right.
Well, James, don't like it or not, said we need to strike. Oh, shit.
Exactly.
See, I'm not inciting anything. I'm just saying.
I didn't incite a thing, but I did. Right. But I did, if you know that you can go and incite something at your job and still be secure in your livelihood, then so be it, sis or brother, or non-conforming individual, as Ben likes to say.
Right.
Do your thing, but it ain't on me, honey. But
and I mean, if you need to, like, put it in somebody else's ear, like, let them lead, and then, be like, never mind, don't worry, just
that makes you a leader that makes you a leader for going to whisper something in somebody who doesn't know their leader's ear. But you know that they'll go ahead and voice it, right? You work together. Partnership. Okay.
Partnership.
You do. This is what it's all about. But before we get off of that subject, I know we're going back to it, and that's been our whole segment for Like It or Not. I wanted to still touch on, I get it when you are afraid to speak up. I get it 100%. So for those of you guys who really are afraid and know that there's an issue at your workplace, but you know that if you were to talk about it, if you were to step away from it, you wouldn't know what your future would look like. You wouldn't know what the length of time it would be for you to get another job because you don't have the means to save up to be in a time without a job. I understand it and I get it. So rock it out until, you're able to leave it. If you can, search for a new job in the meantime. That doesn't mean start acting up at the job while you're searching for a new job. Start looking for a new job as something that works for you, or, making time to maybe learn a trade in this time. I think that hopefully God blesses us with another shutdown and we could do it over again, y'all. Take them courses that was like $2 online or for free. And by the end of the panoramic, we're able to get the from these corporate, from corporate stress and things like that. For those of you who don't have business licenses, go ahead and go get you a free one with your tax ID. Go up to the tax commissioner office and get you a free one just in case there will be another PPP opportunity. Okay, so do what needs to be done. Okay, do what needs to be done. Start preparing yourself. So do we have those videos, Dwayne? I filibustered long enough, but I meant what I said in my filibustering. But do we have those, Dwayne? Okay, let's play that one. Let's see. Let's play that one.
Right here.
Wow. The man's so excited.
Oh my God. Listen, when a kid says they love something, you get you train up a kid how the Bible said it, as they shall go, something like that. I don't know the verse, if it's even in the Bible, or did a black preacher say it on somebody's pulpit centuries ago? I don't know, but they said train up a child as they should be or go or whatever. And I feel like if a child tells you, when they're young, that they like playing the drums, get that baby a drum set and watch him just be excited. Did you see him just walk in there and was like, oh my God, that giggling, that joy. I love that. My friend's son has some kind of obsession with dinosaurs. I thought it was just like some kid thing, but he knows the dinosaurs by name. Like he knows what a paleontologist is. And I was like, excuse me, sir, what is that? And he was explaining to me, he's like, no, Tati, a paleontologist, he's 3, is X, Y, and Z, is this and this and this. And he tells me, I'm like, so what kind of dinosaur is this? It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or it's a Bronchiosaurus. He knows each and every one, and he knows what they do. He knows the feature on that dinosaur that makes them the way they are, or why his neck is long, or why their arms are short. He's only 3, but when you do encourage a child and the thing that they love, you let their imaginations run wild, you'd be surprised at what they learn. I bet you that baby will learn to play them drums, if not already, within 2 seconds. And you'd be like, he's only 3. No, because we encouraged and we pushed him. A lot of times, and to me, that's still letting a child be a child, right? A lot of times people be like, just let the baby be a baby, right? And just talk to him like, and your baby gonna start talking to you in that too. While he 3, can't even say a word. Encourage that baby. Give the baby something that they love and they can do. So I love to see that. I think that that's how I learned to be a reader at such a young age, because my dad bought me encyclopedia. bought me an encyclopedia at like 4. And I was like the best reader, but I don't know why he bought me an encyclopedia. It's crazy. Maybe I said I don't know, but an encyclopedia, y'all. But yeah, that's what I think really got me to be such a great reader. I'm not great in math, not really the best speller, but I can really read in many different languages at that. So it's probably because, yeah. Well, I'm just sorry, guys. I'm just reading. What's going on? Where's Bubba?
Child, trying to get this microphone together.
I'm like, what's happening right now? What's happening right now? But let's talk about COVID before we get out of here. COVID-19 is out in these streets. Just like Fat Joe said, that COVID was in there. Okay, COVID was in there somewhere. God bless. Okay, COVID is out here in these streets somewhere doing what it needs to do. Dr. Fauci is who Donald Trump told us not to get our information from, which is why we should be trusting Dr. Fauci because Donald Trump told us not to. He actually was giving out advice for people who got COVID and probably never got vaccinated. Let's see what he had to say about that.
You've brought up regionally the South, but out in the plains, in the Great Plains, we have Sturgis, South Dakota. There's a gathering right now of some 700,000 people. Last year, it was a smaller turnout, and it was over about 150,000 people, and it led to a massive outbreak in the Dakotas, where they became number 1 and number 2 for essentially the rest of the calendar year of cases. What do you expect this rally to do to that part of the country?
Well, I'm very concerned, Chuck, that we're going to see another surge related to that rally. I mean, to me, it's understandable that people want to do the kinds of things they want to do. They want their freedom to do that. But there comes a time when you're dealing with a public health crisis that could involve you, your family, and everyone else, that something supersedes that need to do exactly what you want to do. I mean, you're going to ultimately be able to do that in the future, but let's get this pandemic under control before we start acting like nothing is going on. I mean, something bad is going on. I mean, we've got to realize that.
Something bad is going on, something bad, big going on. Why you keep putting me on one shot, Dwayne? Just come back with the 2 shot. Come back with the 2 shot. I don't be ready. I just don't be ready. But something is going on. The pandemic never ended. And before people can start going back with their lives, just because people on Twitter said, hey, let's continue. Let's move forward. I want to do the same thing. I wanted to be in the streets. I was in the streets on Saturday. Okay, I woke up still with my band on my wrist. I had a really good time at a only vaccinated event. But I still knew that there was some place of COVID in the area. COVID was walking around. And why y'all always getting on me in the in the what you call it, the chat? But yes, the COVID was walking around. I woke up and I said, I have to. It's gonna be best, even though I'm vaccinated. I have to quarantine myself. I gotta quarantine myself. There's just no way we can't be out in the streets like we used to be. We just can't do it. So if Fauci is telling y'all around here saying that everything is over, before everything can be over, we got to handle this pandemic. We've been saying that since like 4 months into the pandemic. Do you think that we did anything different? What do we do different? Look, Bubba, are you going to mime, or is it that your mic isn't working?
Can you not hear me?
Nope, because Dwayne got you low in my ear. Not in my ear, in my audio.
Oh, that might just be the microphone. It's so terrible.
I know, it's crazy. But
how about now?
I could hear you. I could hear you for sure. Because I want to know where you're just going to be miming.
Miming all day long. Let me stop.
You're the praise dancing.
Praise dance.
What we do? First of all, why were we like doing sign language for the praise dancing? Like, I feel like that I literally had a sign language book to do praise dancing.
Rebecca, Did you see the sign interpreter from Megan Thee Stallion?
Yes, I did. It was amazing. It was so, I'm like, dang, it was almost giving me porn, like soft porn. I said, girl, are you really, do you got to do that? Because not even Megan is doing that, but I guess you did. You had to show what the word, you had to explain what the word was doing. She was doing the action. I said, girl,
big black
girl
in the back. Cool.
Oh,
hey, girl, you got
okay. This is nice.
We'll definitely had to play that in the after party.
Yeah, look, because we have tomorrow's an after party. But listen, for the people that went to the Megan Thee Stallion concert, I hope that you were vaccinated. For people like me who went out to the event, I thought going to a all vaccinated event that required your vaccination card would give me some peace of mind. And while my Instagram stories showed you that I was having a blast, because indeed, I was enjoying myself to the maximum. Once I woke up the next day with the hangover and the world started to wasn't spinning anymore. I was able to now put things together responsibly. And I was like, hold on now. I can't go be around people. Looking at the numbers rise, not trying to put fear in myself, because I still have trips that I've planned that I will be going on, but this is my reality. If I'm going to go out, I have to be prepared to understand that I still could possibly be carrying the virus on me somewhere in me, and I could still give it to somebody. Yeah. So after, that, it's time for quarantine. So that's just how my life is now. It can't be just jumping from place to place. That's why I can't go back into the office. Because if you think that I'm not about to be going out on the weekends just to save people's life in the office, it ain't happening. Because if the corporation ain't trying to save my life, I'm not trying to go back in the office and just be out here not going out because I need to save the people that I'm sitting next to. I don't know you like that. I don't. Okay. So I'm trying to save me first. So, Dr. Fauci, before we get out of here, I want to play this quick shot. That's the C2 of Dr. Fauci explaining the importance of vaccinations and the importance of vaccinations and. Okay, he's cussing me out. The importance of vaccinations, even if it's just one. Let's take a look.
I want to play some sound for you of some folks explaining why they haven't gotten vaccinated. Take a listen.
No, I have not been vaccinated. I have had COVID, as he had COVID last winter.
I had it already. I kicked his butt.
That seems to be, I've heard this frankly, from friends and family in my circle. Oh, I've had COVID. I don't need the vaccine yet. What do you say?
Well, there have been recent studies that clearly show that if you've had COVID, you might be protected for a while against the original virus that you were infected with. But when variants come along, you are vulnerable. And there was a study that came out within this past week that showed that if you are infected, recover, and get one shot of the vaccine, your protection doubles what it would be if you got 2 shots of the vaccine and were not infected. So it is a major advantage for people who have been infected and recovered to really strongly protect them against getting reinfected with a new variant. That's the reason why we strongly recommend that even if you have been infected, that you get vaccinated.
And there it is, guys, right there from Dr. Fauci himself.
Seven Sweethearts say COVID got more sequels than Fast and Furious.
It sure do. It sure do. Listen, COVID came out good. COVID came out like it was a Greek probate, right? It came out with this one, came out with the Delta, and then now I feel like they said there was an iota brewing in the background. I just really don't know. I really don't know. And I just feel like we need to not be pulling up to any of these COVID probates, okay? We need to be taking care of ourselves, getting vaccinated, just like Dr. Fauci said. Listen to the amount of protection you get with only one shot after having COVID-19. Now imagine with both shots, how you are protecting yourself. Not that you cannot get the virus, but your chances will be lower than the person who is unvaccinated. Now, your chances are way higher of living and not being hospitalized when you if you catch COVID, because there's some people who are vaccinated and living life like it's golden and it should be, but they reckless out here in these damn streets. Okay.
Right. And vaccinated and getting sick as hell too. Let's be clear about that too. Some of these
and getting sick and giving it to people in their family who are not vaccinated, like kids who cannot, who are not at the age to get vaccinated. Let's be clear. So that's why I say, even for me, listen, the streets have been so good to me. The streets have been great. It has. Now, even though the streets have been so amazing, okay, you know, I have to make sure that I take care of me. Especially, I got plans to go see my old lady and my old man, my mom, my dad. You know, I got to make sure that I ain't going down there and risking their lives, because the streets is calling my name and I'm going to the streets. You know, the fall is coming up. Like, we gotta, we want to be with family around that time. We know what happens last pandemic when they said that we needed to quarantine or we needed to, what did we do? We took that as saying, oh, just go be with the family. Oh, say no more. So what we did was go just be with family, because our understanding of quarantining was go be with family around this time, and that's it. Meanwhile, your family is coming into town to be with you after they didn't be with the whole world, been at the job with sick people all next to them. Okay? And people were getting sick that way. Two things, y'all. Somebody just told me that their whole family got COVID-19. Mama, brother, siblings had got COVID-19. This person was next to me and I had to question them because they're vaccinated. I had to question them, excuse me, were you near them? I had to ask those questions, sweetie, because it's like an STD. Some people don't want to tell you the truth about that thing. So I'm like, were you near them? Because we've been near each other for the last year. What were you doing? What was that like? He was like, nah, I wasn't around them for a while. We're living in a different day and time. We got to start questioning. And I had to ask, are they vaccinated? And he's like, nope, none of them are vaccinated. And it's crazy because I was supposed to go be with them a week ago and something came up with one of my properties, so I couldn't go. The streets ain't safe. They fun, but the streets ain't safe. Fun. Get vaccinated.
You know what you're getting into. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get vaccinated.
I was supposed to go see Kanye, and I'm just like, you know what? But they then found out they live streamed. I bought tickets and everything, and I just knew I was about to be in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and yeah, I was like, nah, I don't trust it. Even though I'm vaccinated, I ain't trust it.
Because that place it was taking everyone, right? At the Mercedes, it was taking all people, whether vaccinated.
Yeah, you had to show no card or nothing. You just, as long as you bought a ticket, you walk your ass in there. And it was from the first the first listening party, because let's call it what it was, a listening party. No mask on. Nobody had a mask on.
Yeah.
So not gonna do it.
Yeah. So get vaccinated, and if you have not been vaccinated, that is okay. Just follow protocol to keep you and your family safe. Some people have fear of being vaccinated. Some people can't get vaccinated for whatever reasons. I'm not even blaming you. It took me a minute for me to get that needle in my arm because I was afraid because of my pre-existing conditions. And I had to have a conversation with my doctor, multiple conversations to ease my mind. And then I thought about, Rebecca, you're here by yourself. If something were to happen to you, it's just you. It's just you, So definitely, if you're not vaccinated, take care of yourself. Be mindful about wearing your mask. Wear your mask. No questions about it. Wear your mask when you're going out. If you have to meet up with a significant other that you haven't seen in a while, think about social distancing. There are fun dates that you guys can do while still social distancing and getting to know one another and planning vaccination dates or some stuff. Like something like that. Do what needs to be done. I know. I see your eyes. Now, once I was vaccinated, I was in these streets too. But if you aren't vaccinated, I ain't shaming you. I'm not.
Right. At all.
Just take care of yourself and be mindful of wearing your mask. And for those of you who are vaccinated, that's good for you. That's good for us. But don't go beat down on people who aren't vaccinated. It's not going to make them want to go get vaccinated when you do that. So anywho, we are at the end of the show. It is Monday. I got to go take care of the people at the corporate job that I don't want to take care of, but they pays me. So I gotta make sure I take care of. Yeah, I gotta take care of them so I can make sure that I'm taking care of mine. I love you guys so much. Ben ain't here. Bubba, is there anything that you want to say before we get out of here? While I'm here, because I know you're gonna talk to them a little bit. So is there anything that you wanna let them know?
No, I love y'all. Mean it. I'm actually going out too, so I'm leaving out.
We all out. All right then. Look, it is Monday. I hope that you guys go out and be great. Just definitely don't go to your job. Once again, I have to say this again, because y'all be doing things a little radical sometimes. Do not go to your job and go start no mess if you know you can't pay your bills tomorrow.
Right.
I love you so much. Go be great. Listen to some good music today. I don't know what I'm going to listen to, but listen to some good music today. Dwayne, love you. Mean it. David, love you. Mean it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Love y'all. Dwayne, drop that clip with some music on it. We'll see y'all tomorrow, y'all. Deuces. No, nothing. Dwayne.